So I just spent a crazy amount of time playing the First Descendant, and I've got some thoughts. You know how there are a ton of live service games out there vying for our attention? Well, this one definitely has some good stuff, but it's also got its fair share of issues. Let me break it down for you. Gameplay and mechanics. First off, the gameplay itself is pretty darn fun. The shooting feels super smooth, and there's a ton of cool abilities you can use to take down aliens. The RPG elements are pretty deep too, so if you're into tweaking your gear and stats, you'll probably enjoy that. Plus, the game looks really good, lots of vibrant characters and cool environments. But fair warning, there are some technical hiccups here and there, like the occasional frame rate drop or crash. Character and combat dynamics. One thing I really liked is the variety of characters you can play as. Each one has their own unique abilities and playstyles, which keeps things interesting. For example, there's this electric speedster named Bunny who's all about zooming around and zapping enemies, and then there's Ajax, a heavy tank, who's great at soaking up damage and controlling the battlefield. Switching between characters really changes up the gameplay, which is awesome. Mission design and repetition. Now, here's where things get a bit iffy. The missions can get pretty repetitive. You'll end up doing a lot of the same stuff over and over, collecting items, escorting drones, and holding down areas while waves of enemies come at you. It gets old pretty fast and kind of pads out the campaign length unnecessarily. I found myself just wanting to get to the good stuff, like the big boss battles and more exciting missions. Story and dialogue. The story, well, it's not great. It's full of confusing sci-fi jargon, and the dialogue is often laughably bad. There were times I couldn't help but burst out laughing at how ridiculous some of the lines were. The main plot just didn't grab me, and I didn't feel much connection to the characters. There are a few interesting ones, like Bunny and Lepic, but they don't get a lot of development, which is a bummer. Monetization model. The biggest downside, though, is the monetization model. It feels like the game is constantly pushing you to spend real money. Unlocking new characters and gear involves a lot of grinding, and it's super tempting to just pay to skip the wait. It really takes away from the satisfaction of earning things through gameplay, and can be pretty frustrating.
Collection, 90% complete. Descendant. I'll look for the final data transmitter. Wait.
Final verdict. All in all, the First Descendant has a lot of potential. The combat is fun, the characters are cool, and there's definitely a good game in there somewhere. But right now, it's bogged down by repetitive missions, a weak story, and a pretty annoying monetization model. If Nexon can fix some of these issues with future updates, it could become a game worth spending a lot of time with. For now, though, it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Load.